Price elasticity deals with how consumers respond when a product has a change in its price. And based on that response, firms will make decisions about how to price their products or services. So it's really, if you think about price elasticity, you can sum it up as consumers' response to price changes. And it uses a couple different factors. One is demand. Demand is customers' desire for a product. And the key concept here is what we call elasticity. And it typically falls under the guise of the law of demand, which means that for most products, as the price goes up, the quantity demanded goes down, right? The more expensive something becomes, the less they may want to have it. This isn't always the case with what we call prestige products, though, because for some products, as the price increases, people may want it more. And this usually would occur for symbolic type products or when people use the price as a real strong cue of quality. So here's what these two things look like. On the left here, we have a traditional demand curve, where here, if you go 10, 20, 30, right, as the price goes up, you can see the corresponding demand goes down. So at a price of $30 for something, the demand is 100 units. That's quantity 1, Q1. And as the price goes up to $50, the demand goes down. So only 60 units were sold. That's Q2, quantity 2. That's for normal products. This one over here demonstrates what might happen for prestige products. And you can see here that as the price goes up from $300 to $700, there's a middle point here where the demand actually increased. But it only will do that usually to a point. Okay, so that's what we mean by, it's also called the Veblen effect. And that's not a traditional demand curve. And there are some other things that affect demand. So when we talk about price elasticity, we're really holding all other things constant. It means there's not anything else going on in the marketplace that could affect demand. So some other things that we know can affect demand would be competitive entry, right? More competitors coming into the marketplace, offering different variety of products and choices for customers. Trends, maybe stage in the product life cycle. And perhaps things like income or if there's some substitute products. So in that case, we would just see a shift outward in the demand curve, but it would have the same basic shape. So at $60, right, we can see demand goes up, but the shape of it doesn't change, or the rate of change between the price and the quantity demand is the same. So let's go back to price and price elasticity. Price elasticity then, when we calculate it, will be the percentage change in sales, so quantity, that results from a percentage change in price. Okay, so when we deal with elasticity, we are looking at it in terms of percentage of change, not in units, not in strict dollars. And when the changes in the price have a very large effect on the amount demanded, then we say that the demand is elastic. So think of it as a rubber band, right? It stretches a lot. When price changes even a little, it has a big stretchy effect on demand. When the change in price has a small or maybe no effect on demand, then we would say that demand is inelastic. That rubber band will not pull at all. It doesn't matter how much you change the price. It's not really a reflection. Demand is not much of a reflection of that price. So here's how you would calculate it, and we'll walk through one of these in a second. The percent change in the quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price. So that's your basic formula. And again, it's all about how sensitive consumers are to changes in price. And that's both price increases and price decreases. So let's do a quick example. And both of these examples will use pizza, although pizza is more of a commodity product, so it's it's unlikely that some pizza would be elastic and other pizza would be inelastic, but this is just for the sake of example. So if you read this example here, let's say that Donato's is selling a pizza for $10 and they lower the price to $9. That basically has a $1 difference, which is a 10% change in the price. If you're not sure how to calculate the change in price, you can use this extended formula here. It's the new price minus the old price divided by the old price. So just look here at this part. That will tell you the percent change. And the same goes for quantity. We see here that demand changed from 2,700 pizzas a month to 3,100. So in this case, as the price was lowered, more pizzas were purchased. So to get the percent change in quantity, it's the same. The new quantity, right, minus the old quantity divided by the old quantity. So new is 3,100, old is 2,700, and that gives you the percent change in the quantity demanded. And so when we plug that in here to the change in quantity over percent change in price, if you work this out yourself, you should get 1.5 is what we call the price elasticity of demand. So here we have the percent change in demand or quantity is 15%, percent change in price is 10%, and that gives us a value of 1.5. And in this case, we would say that the Donato customers were really affected by the change in price. So this is what we would call an elastic product. And this number here is called the elasticity coefficient. If the elasticity coefficient is pretty close to or greater than 1.0, then we assign it, we say it's elastic. Okay, the demand is stretching a lot based on that change in price. In this example here, which I'll go through a little more quickly, we have a similar scenario with the price changing from $10 to $9, so that percent change in price is the same. However, in this case, we sold 2,700 the first month, like Donato's did, but the second month we only sold 2,835. So already you can see that they didn't sell as many as Donato's. When you work out the calculations, you will get a price elasticity of demand of 0.5. So we would say that this is inelastic, that the customers were not very sensitive to that $1 price reduction. And so this would be considered inelastic because the coefficient is below 1. Now, when you think about the comparison between Donato's and Papa John's, you can make some conclusions about what price they might want to charge. In the case of Papa John's, if the pizza is inelastic, meaning it didn't change demand much, why are they giving everyone a $1 discount when people didn't really respond to that discount? My recommendation would be price your pizza still at $10, right? Because you're actually losing money because you have an inelastic product. Whereas for Donato's, that $1 price reduction gave them a lot more sales, which probably made a pretty big difference to their bottom line. So in that case, they probably should price the pizza at the $9. So again, here's just a comparison graphically between what we would see with a product that has elastic demand. Your demand curve is what we call it, would be kind of on a diagonal, okay? And for inelastic demand, it's more vertical, okay? We don't have a big gap here between the quantity demand when our price changes, whereas here we have a pretty wide gap when we change the price. So that concludes price elasticity.